The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before the warship's stellar sanctuary, its sleek metallic surface reflecting the distant light of stars. Captain Mark Randall stood on the bridge, his stern eyes fixed on the holographic display of the galaxy map. His crew moved efficiently around him, each member trained for the rigors of interstellar warfare. They were deep in hostile territory, tasked with a critical mission to gather intelligence on the alien race, known as the Xeroc, a species that had declared war on humanity. "Captain, we're approaching the coordinates," Lieutenant Perez announced from her station, her fingers dancing over the console. Mark nodded, his mind already anticipating the challenges ahead. "Maintain stealth mode. We can't afford to be detected." The warship glided silently through space, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it nearly invisible to enemy sensors. The crew operated with practiced precision, aware that a single mistake could mean their doom. Suddenly, alarms blared through the ship, and the bridge was bathed in red light. "Captain, we've been spotted." "Multiple Xeroc ships are converging on our position," Perez shouted, her voice tense. Mark's jaw tightened. "All hands to battle stations. Prepare for evasive maneuvers." The stellar sanctuary shuddered as enemy fire struck its hull. Mark barked orders, coordinating the ship's defenses and counterattacks. The Xeroc ships were relentless, their advanced weaponry overwhelming the warship's shields. Explosions rocked the vessel, and sparks flew from damaged consoles. "We're losing power," Captain Chief Engineer Adams reported, his face grim. Mark knew they couldn't withstand the onslaught much longer. "Initiate emergency landing protocols. Find the nearest habitable planet." Perez's fingers flew over the controls. "There's a planet in the nearby system, but it's uncharted. No guarantee it's safe." "Do it," Mark ordered. "It's our only chance." The stellar sanctuary lurched as it broke free from the battle, engines straining to reach the distant planet. The Xeroc ships pursued, their weapons continuing to rain destruction. The warship entered the planet's atmosphere, turbulence shaking it violently. "Brace for impact," Mark shouted. The ship crashed through the thick canopy of an alien jungle, tearing through trees and vegetation. The ground rushed up to meet them, and the stellar sanctuary hit with a bone-jarring impact, skidding to a halt amid a cloud of debris and smoke. Silence followed, broken only by the crackling of fires and the groans of the damaged hull. Mark struggled to his feet, blood trickling down his forehead. He surveyed the wreckage, his heart heavy with the loss of life and the uncertainty of their fate. "Is anyone alive?" he called out, his voice echoing in the broken remains of the bridge. A few groans and coughs answered him. Survivors. They would have to regroup and find a way to survive on this unknown planet. As Mark gathered his strength and assessed the situation, he knew that their greatest challenges were yet to come. The air was thick with humidity and the scent of alien flora as Mark stepped out of the wreckage of the stellar sanctuary. The jungle around him was a riot of colors and sounds, with towering trees and strange, luminescent plants casting an eerie glow. The sun, if it could be called that, was a dull red orb in the sky, casting an otherworldly light over the landscape. Mark's mind raced as he took in his surroundings. The warship was a twisted ruin, and their chances of repair were slim. He activated his communicator, but the device crackled with static. They were cut off from the rest of the galaxy. He turned to the few survivors who had managed to crawl out of the wreckage. "We need to find food, water, and shelter. Spread out, but stay within sight of each other. Keep an eye out for anything useful." As they began their search, Mark couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. The jungle was alive with movement, shadows flitting at the edge of his vision. He gripped his blaster tightly, ready for any threat. Hours passed, and the crew managed to find a small stream of clear water and some edible-looking plants. They gathered in a makeshift camp near the wreckage, their faces drawn with exhaustion and fear. "We can't stay here," Mark said, his voice firm. "We need to find a more secure location and start thinking about long-term survival." As they discussed their options, a rustling in the underbrush caught Mark's attention. He turned, blaster raised, and was met with the sight of a figure stepping cautiously into the clearing. It was an alien, unlike any he had seen before. She was tall and slender, with delicate, iridescent skin that shimmered in the dim light. Her large, expressive eyes were a deep, violet hue, filled with a mix of curiosity and wariness. She wore simple, tattered clothing that suggested she had been on the planet for some time. Mark lowered his blaster slightly, signaling for his crew to do the same. "Who are you?" he asked, trying to keep his tone calm and non-threatening. The alien hesitated, her gaze flicking between Mark and the others. Finally, she spoke in a melodious, yet halting voice. I am Lyra. I am Liz, left here, abandoned by my people. Mark's heart went out to her. She was clearly alone and vulnerable, much like they were. I'm Captain Mark Randall. We crashed here after a battle. We're not your enemies. Lyra nodded slowly, her posture relaxing a fraction. This planet is dangerous. Many creatures hunt at night. You need shelter, a safe place. Mark's respect for her grew. Despite her situation, she was offering help. Can you guide us to a safer location? Lyra hesitated again, then nodded. Follow me. There is a cave not far from here. It will protect us from the predators. As they gathered their meager supplies and followed Lyra into the jungle, Mark couldn't help but feel a sense of hope. Perhaps, together, they could find a way to survive on this alien world. The cave Lyra led them to was well hidden, its entrance covered by thick vines and foliage. Inside, it was spacious enough to accommodate the survivors and provided a sense of security that the open jungle did not. The walls were cool and damp, and the sound of dripping water echoed softly in the darkness. As the crew settled in, Mark took the opportunity to speak with Lyra. He needed to understand her situation and determine how they could work together. He found her sitting near the entrance, her eyes scanning the jungle with practiced vigilance. Thank you for helping us, Mark began, sitting down beside her. Lyra nodded, her expression guarded. You have no reason to trust me, but I have no intention of harming you. We are both survivors here. Mark appreciated her straightforwardness. What happened to you? Why were you abandoned? Lyra's eyes darkened with the memory. My people, the Elorians, were caught in the middle of this war. When the Zarak attacked our colony, those who could escape did so. I was left behind in the chaos. Mark felt a pang of empathy. I'm sorry. We've all lost so much to this war. They sat in silence for a moment, each lost in their own thoughts. Finally, Mark spoke again. We need to find a way to survive here, and for that, we need to trust each other. Can you tell us more about this planet, what dangers we might face? Lyra nodded, her expression serious. The jungle is full of predators, especially at night. There are creatures that can sense movement and heat. We must be cautious. The plants can be both a source of food and poison. I will help you identify what is safe. Mark listened intently, grateful for her knowledge. We need to establish a routine, gather resources, and find a way to signal for help. Do you think it's possible? Lyra's gaze softened slightly. It will not be easy, but together we have a better chance. Over the next few days, they fell into a rhythm of survival. Mark and his crew followed Lyra's guidance, learning to forage for food, collect water, and fortify their cave against the nocturnal predators. The work was hard and often dangerous, but it kept their minds focused and gave them a sense of purpose. As they worked side by side, Mark and Lyra's initial mistrust began to fade. They shared stories of their worlds, finding common ground in their experiences and aspirations. Mark admired Lyra's resilience and strength, qualities that mirrored his own. He found himself looking forward to their conversations, drawn to her in ways he hadn't anticipated. One evening, as they sat by the small fire in the cave, Mark found himself opening up to her. Before the war, I never imagined I'd be here, on an alien planet, fighting to survive. I always thought I'd be exploring new worlds, making discoveries. Lyra smiled wistfully. I understand. My dream was to be a healer, to help my people. But war changes everything. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the weight of their situation seemed to lift. In each other, they found a connection that transcended their differences, a bond forged in the crucible of their shared struggles. As the days turned into weeks, their alliance grew stronger. They learned to rely on each other, not just for survival, but for companionship. The lines between their roles blurred, and they became partners in every sense of the word. And with that partnership came an undeniable attraction. It simmered beneath the surface, a spark that neither of them could ignore. In the quiet moments, when the jungle was still, and the firelight cast soft shadows on the cave walls, they found themselves drawn closer, their touches lingering just a little longer, their gazes holding a little more meaning. But in the midst of war and survival, love was a luxury they couldn't afford to indulge lightly. They both knew that their primary goal was to survive and find a way off the planet. Yet, the heart has a way of finding light even in the darkest of places, and their growing feelings for each other became a beacon of hope in their uncertain world. The days on the alien planet were long and arduous. Every dawn brought new challenges, but it also offered opportunities for Mark and Lyra to learn more about their environment and each other. They developed a routine that balanced the immediate needs of survival with the long-term goal of signaling for help. Mark divided the crew into teams, each with specific tasks. One group was responsible for gathering food, another for securing water, and a third for fortifying their shelter. Mark and Lyra often worked together, their complementary skills making them an effective team. Lyra taught Mark how to identify safe plants and hunt small game. She showed him how to use the natural resources of the jungle to create tools and weapons. Mark, in turn, shared his knowledge of military strategy and survival tactics, adapting them to their new environment. One afternoon, as they trekked through the dense jungle in search of food, Mark noticed Lyra moving with a grace and familiarity that spoke of her deep connection to nature. He admired her resilience and adaptability, traits that had helped them survive thus far. "Lyra, how did you learn all this?" he asked, curious about her background. Lyra smiled, a hint of pride in her eyes. "My people have always lived close to nature. We believe in harmony with our environment. I was trained as a healer, but part of that training involved learning about the flora and fauna of our world." Mark nodded, impressed. "It's incredible how much you know. I don't think we would have made it this far without your guidance." Lyra's smile widened, and for a moment, the burdens of their situation seemed to lift. "And I would not have survived alone. We are stronger together." As they continued their search, they came across a cluster of vibrant, fruit-bearing plants. Lyra examined them carefully before picking a few and handing them to Mark. "These are safe to eat. They will provide us with the nutrients we need." Mark bit into the fruit. "Its sweet juice a welcome relief. We should gather as many as we can. This will be a good addition to our supplies." As they worked side by side, a comfortable silence settled between them. Their movements were synchronized, a testament to the growing bond between them. It was a partnership built on mutual respect and trust, and it gave them both the strength to face the challenges of their harsh reality. Back at the cave, the crew was making progress on fortifications. Using vines and branches, they constructed a barrier at the entrance to keep out nocturnal predators. The sense of accomplishment was palpable, and for the first time since the crash, there was a glimmer of hope in their eyes. That evening, as they gathered around the fire, Mark addressed the crew. "We've made it through another day, and we're stronger for it. We need to keep up this momentum and stay focused on our goal. We'll get through this together." Lyra added her voice to his, her tone gentle but firm. "We are a team now. We must look out for each other and stay united. Only then will we overcome the challenges ahead." As the fire crackled and the stars twinkled overhead, Mark felt a sense of camaraderie and determination among the group. They were no longer just survivors, they were a community, bound by their shared experiences and their will to survive. In the quiet moments before sleep, Mark found himself thinking about Lyra. Their bond was undeniable, and he couldn't help but wonder what the future held for them. In the midst of war and survival, they had found something precious, a connection that transcended their differences and gave them hope. And as he drifted off to sleep, Mark knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Their partnership was their greatest strength, and it would see them through even the darkest of times. As the days turned into weeks, the rhythm of survival on the alien planet became second nature to Mark and his crew. They had learned to navigate the dangers of the jungle, secure their food and water sources, and fortify their shelter. But amid the constant struggle, moments of respite allowed for deeper connections to form. Mark and Lyra often found themselves working together, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. They shared stories of their respective worlds, finding solace in the similarities and learning from the differences. Mark spoke of Earth, with its blue skies and diverse cultures, while Lyra painted vivid pictures of Alor, a world of iridescent beauty and ancient traditions. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Lyra asked, "What do you miss most about your home, Mark?" He gazed into the flames, reflecting on her question. "I miss the sense of normalcy. The simple things, like a warm meal with friends, the smell of rain, the sound of music, and my family. I miss them every day." Lyra nodded, her eyes soft with understanding. "I miss my family too. My parents, my siblings. They were everything to me. I wonder if they made it to safety." Mark reached out, gently squeezing her hand. I'm sure they did. And we'll find a way back to them, to our homes. Their hands lingered together, the contact a comforting reminder that they were not alone. In the weeks that followed, their relationship deepened. They became each other's confidants, sharing their fears and dreams in the quiet moments between survival tasks. One day, as they were exploring a new part of the jungle, they came across a hidden waterfall. The water cascaded into a crystal-clear pool. It sounded a soothing melody in the otherwise silent forest. It was a place of rare beauty, a sanctuary amid the chaos. Lyra's eyes lit up with delight. It's beautiful. We should make this our refuge, a place to come when we need to escape. Mark agreed, feeling a sense of peace wash over him. It's perfect. We can use it as a place to recharge, to find moments of happiness. They spent the afternoon there, swimming in the cool waters and basking in the serenity of their surroundings. It was a rare day of joy, a reminder that even in the darkest times, beauty could still be found. As the sun set and they prepared to return to the cave, Mark felt a growing sense of attraction towards Lyra. Her strength, her kindness, and her unwavering spirit had captivated him. He knew that his feelings for her were deepening, and he sensed that she felt the same. That night, as they sat by the fire, the air between them was charged with unspoken emotions. Mark looked into Lyra's eyes, seeing the reflection of his own longing. He reached out, gently brushing a strand of hair from her face. Lyra, I care about you. More than I ever thought possible in a situation like this. Lyra's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. Mark, I feel the same. You've become my anchor, my hope. I don't know what the future holds, but I know that I want to face it with you. Their confession hung in the air, a fragile thread of hope in the midst of uncertainty. They leaned closer, their lips meeting in a tender kiss. It was a promise, a declaration of their commitment to each other. In that moment, they were not just two survivors on an alien planet. They were two souls finding solace and love in the most unexpected of places. And as they held each other close, they knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their bond unbreakable. The days grew warmer, as the planet's distant sun rose higher in the sky. The jungle flourished with life, and so did the bond between Mark and Lyra. Their connection, born out of necessity, had blossomed into something profound and irreplaceable. They spent their days working alongside each other, their movements synchronized like a well-practiced dance. The crew had come to rely on their leadership, and their unity brought a sense of stability and hope. But it was in the quiet moments, away from the prying eyes of the others, that Mark and Lyra's love truly flourished. One evening, after a long day of fortifying their shelter, Mark and Lyra retreated to the hidden waterfall. The moon cast a silver glow over the pool, turning the water into a mirror of the night sky. They sat side by side, their hands intertwined, soaking in the tranquility. Lyra, Mark began, his voice soft and filled with emotion. I never imagined I could find someone like you in the midst of all this chaos. You've given me strength and hope when I needed it most. Lyra turned to him, her eyes shimmering in the moonlight. And you, Mark, have shown me what true resilience and compassion look like. You've become my guiding star, my reason to keep fighting. Their words were a balm to each other's souls, a reaffirmation of the love that had grown between them. They leaned in, their lips meeting in a kiss that spoke of promises and dreams yet to be fulfilled. That night, their love found its fullest expression. Under the canopy of stars, they became one, their bodies and hearts entwined. It was a union that transcended the physical, a melding of souls that brought them a sense of completeness and peace. In the days that followed, their love became a beacon for the crew. They worked harder, their spirits lifted by the visible bond between their leaders. Mark and Lyra's relationship brought a sense of normalcy and hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times, love could prevail. But the reality of their situation could not be ignored. They were still stranded on an alien planet, with no way of knowing if or when rescue would come. Mark and Lyra knew they had to stay focused on survival, even as their love gave them the strength to endure. One afternoon, while they were out foraging for food, they stumbled upon an old, abandoned structure. It was partially covered in vines and moss, but it looked like it had once been a research outpost. Excitement and curiosity surged through them. Mark, look at this, Lyra exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. This could be a game changer. There might be supplies or technology we can use. They carefully explored the structure, finding remnants of equipment and data logs. It was clear that whoever had been here had left in a hurry, possibly due to the same dangers they now faced. Among the debris, they found a damaged but repairable communication device. Mark's heart raced. If we can get this working, we might be able to send a signal for help. It's a long shot, but it's better than nothing. They spent the next few days working on the device. Their hope rekindled. The crew joined in, each person contributing their skills to the effort. It was a unifying project, a symbol of their collective will to survive. As they worked, Mark and Lyra's bond continued to deepen. They shared more of their pasts, their dreams, and their fears. They found solace in each other's arms, their love a sanctuary from the harsh reality outside. One evening, as they lay beneath the stars, Mark spoke of his deepest fear. "Lyra, what if we never get rescued? What if this is our life now?" Lyra held him close, her voice steady and filled with conviction. "Then we make the best of it. We build a life here, together. We've already found something incredible in each other. As long as we have that, we have everything we need." Mark looked into her eyes, finding the strength and courage he needed. "You're right. We'll face whatever comes, together." Their love was their greatest strength, a force that drove them to keep fighting, to keep hoping. And as the days turned into weeks, they knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it side by side, their hearts forever intertwined. The days on the alien planet continued to pass, marked by the ceaseless rhythm of survival. Mark and Lyra's bond had become the cornerstone of their existence, their love a source of strength and hope for the entire crew. But as their relationship deepened, they faced the complexities and joys that came with it. One morning, as the sun's first light filtered through the canopy, Mark woke to find Lyra nestled beside him, her presence a comforting warmth. He marveled at how much they had endured together, and how their love had flourished in the face of adversity. "Lyra," he whispered, brushing a gentle kiss on her forehead, "we've come so far. I can't imagine my life without you." Lyra stirred, her eyes fluttering open. She smiled, a soft and radiant expression that made Mark's heart swell. "And I can't imagine mine without you, Mark. You've become my everything." They spent the day working on the communication device, their hope of rescue a distant but persistent dream. The crew had made significant progress, and there was a palpable sense of anticipation in the air. As they labored together, Mark and Lyra's connection grew even stronger. They moved as one, their thoughts and actions perfectly in sync. Their love had become a beacon of light in the darkness, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. That evening, after a long day of work, they retreated to the waterfall. The moon cast its silvery glow over the pool, creating a serene and magical atmosphere. They sat together, their fingers intertwined, the sound of the cascading water a soothing backdrop. "Lyra, do you ever think about what life will be like if we get rescued?" Mark asked, his voice thoughtful. Lyra nodded, her gaze distant as she pondered his question. "I do. I imagine us finding a place where we can be together, where we can build a life free from war and conflict. A place where our love can grow even stronger." Mark smiled, his heart filled with hope. "I want that too, more than anything." They leaned in, their lips meeting in a tender kiss. It was a moment of pure connection, a reaffirmation of their love and commitment to each other. As they held each other close, they felt the world fade away, leaving only the two of them and the promise of their future. Their love found its fullest expression that night, a union of body and soul that transcended the physical. They became one, their hearts and minds melding in a dance of intimacy and passion. It was a connection that defied the boundaries of their situation, a testament to the power of love in the face of adversity. In the days that followed, their bond continued to deepen. They shared their dreams and fears, their hopes and aspirations. They found solace in each other's arms, their love a sanctuary from the harsh reality of their existence. One afternoon, as they were gathering supplies, Lyra paused, her hand resting on her abdomen. She turned to Mark, her eyes filled with a mix of wonder and uncertainty. "Mark, I think I might be pregnant," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. Mark's heart skipped a beat. He took her hand, his eyes searching hers for confirmation. "Are you sure?" Lyra nodded, her eyes glistening with tears. "I've been feeling different, and I missed my cycle. I think it's true." A surge of emotions washed over Mark, joy, fear, hope, and uncertainty all mingling together. He pulled Lyra into a tight embrace, his voice filled with wonder. We're going to have a child. A part of both of us. Lyra clung to him, her tears flowing freely. I never thought this would be possible, especially here. But it gives us something more to fight for, a reason to keep hoping. Their news brought a renewed sense of purpose and determination to the crew. They worked even harder, driven by the knowledge that they were not just surviving for themselves, but for the future they were building. As the weeks turned into months, Lyra's pregnancy became a symbol of hope and resilience. Mark and Lyra's love had not only survived the harshest of conditions but had flourished and created new life. Their bond was unbreakable, their love a testament to the strength of the human spirit. And as they faced each new challenge together, they knew that no matter what the future held, they would face it as a family, their hearts forever intertwined, their love a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. The news of Lyra's pregnancy spread quickly among the crew, bringing a renewed sense of hope and purpose. The knowledge that new life was growing in their midst became a powerful motivator, driving them to work even harder towards survival and rescue. Mark and Lyra's bond continued to deepen as they navigated the challenges of their situation together. They faced each day with determination, their love and partnership a source of strength for the entire crew. The jungle, once a place of constant danger, had become their home, and they had learned to live in harmony with its rhythms. One morning, as they gathered around the fire, Lieutenant Perez approached Mark and Lyra with a look of excitement. Captain Lyra, we've managed to get the communication device working. It's sending out a distress signal. Mark's heart leaped with hope. That's incredible news, Perez. How long until we know if someone picks it up? Perez shook her head. It's hard to say. The signal is weak and the range is limited, but it's a start. We just have to keep our fingers crossed. The crew's spirits lifted at the prospect of rescue. They continued their survival routines with renewed vigor, their eyes constantly scanning the skies for any sign of help. Mark and Lyra took turns monitoring the communication device, their hope a constant undercurrent in their daily lives. As Lyra's pregnancy progressed, the crew rallied around her, offering support and care. They fashioned a makeshift bed in the cave, ensuring her comfort and safety. Mark was by her side every step of the way, his love and dedication unwavering. One afternoon, as they sat by the waterfall, Mark gently placed his hand on Lyra's growing belly. I can't believe we're going to be parents, he said, his voice filled with wonder. Lyra smiled, her eyes shining with love. It's a miracle, Mark. Our child is a symbol of our love and our hope for the future. They shared a tender moment, their hearts full of anticipation and joy. Despite the uncertainty of their situation, they knew that they were building something beautiful together. As the weeks passed, the jungle presented new challenges. A sudden storm brought torrential rain and flooding, threatening their shelter and supplies. The crew worked tirelessly to fortify the cave and protect their resources, their teamwork a testament to their resilience. Mark and Lyra faced these challenges head-on, their partnership growing stronger with each obstacle. They found creative solutions to problems, drawing on each other's strengths and expertise. Their love was a beacon that guided them through the darkest moments, giving them the courage to keep fighting. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Perez approached with a look of excitement. Captain, we've picked up a signal. It's faint, but it's definitely a response to our distress call. Mark's heart raced. Can we communicate with them? Perez nodded. We're trying. The signal is weak, but we're working on boosting it. The crew gathered around, their faces filled with hope and anticipation. Mark and Lyra exchanged a glance, their hearts full of emotion. They had come so far, endured so much, and now rescue seemed within reach. As the crew worked to strengthen the signal, Mark and Lyra held each other close, their love a constant source of strength. They knew that whatever the future held, they would face it together, their bond unbreakable. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the communication device crackled to life. A voice came through, faint but clear. This is the Starship Orion. We received your distress signal. Can you hear us? The crew erupted in cheers, their relief and joy palpable. Mark stepped forward, his voice steady as he responded. This is Captain Mark Randall of the warship Stellar Sanctuary. We read you loud and clear. We are stranded on an uncharted planet and in need of rescue. The voice on the other end replied, We have your coordinates, Captain Randall. We're dispatching a rescue team immediately. Hang tight, help is on the way. Tears of joy streamed down Lyra's face as she embraced Mark. "We're going to be rescued, Mark. We're going to be okay." Mark held her close, his heart overflowing with gratitude and love. "Yes, Lyra, we made it. Together." As the crew celebrated their impending rescue, Mark and Lyra stood side by side, their hearts full of hope and anticipation. They had survived against all odds, their love and partnership a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And as they looked to the future, they knew that they would face whatever came next together, their bond unbreakable, their love a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. The days following the successful communication with the starship Orion were filled with anticipation and preparation. The crew worked tirelessly to ready themselves for the arrival of the rescue team. Despite the challenges and hardships they had faced, their spirits were high, buoyed by the knowledge that help was finally on the way. Mark and Lyra's bond had become the cornerstone of the group's morale. Their love and resilience served as an example to the others, showing that even in the darkest of times, hope and connection could flourish. As Lyra's pregnancy progressed, she became a symbol of new beginnings for the entire crew. One morning, as they gathered by the fire, the sound of engines filled the air. The crew looked up to see a shuttle descending through the canopy, its sleek design a stark contrast to the rough jungle surroundings. Cheers erupted as the shuttle touched down, the doors opening to reveal the rescue team. A group of uniformed officers stepped out, their faces a mix of relief and determination. The leader of the team, a tall woman with a commanding presence, approached Mark and Lyra. "Captain Randall, I'm Commander Alara of the starship Orion. We're here to get you home." Mark extended his hand, gratitude evident in his eyes. "Thank you, Commander Alara. We owe you our lives." Alara nodded, her gaze sweeping over the crew. "You've all shown incredible resilience and courage. Let's get you out of here." The rescue operation was swift and efficient. The crew of the Stellar Sanctuary was escorted onto the shuttle, their relief palpable as they left the jungle behind. Mark and Lyra held hands as they boarded, their hearts full of hope for the future. As the shuttle ascended, the view of the alien planet grew smaller, replaced by the vast expanse of space. It was a bittersweet moment, leaving behind the place where they had faced so many challenges, but also where they had found love and hope. The journey to the starship Orion was short, and soon they were stepping onto the gleaming deck of the ship. The crew of the Orion greeted them warmly, providing medical care, food, and clean clothing. It was a stark contrast to the harsh conditions they had endured, and the crew of the Stellar Sanctuary felt a profound sense of relief. Mark and Lyra were given a private quarters, a sanctuary where they could rest and recover. As they settled in, Mark turned to Lyra, his eyes filled with love and gratitude. "We did it, Lyra. We're safe." Lyra smiled, her hand resting on her belly. "And our child will be born in a place of safety and peace. We've come so far, Mark." They held each other close, the weight of their journey lifting from their shoulders. The future was still uncertain, but they knew they would face it together, their love a constant source of strength. In the days that followed, the crew of the Stellar Sanctuary began to integrate with the Orion's crew. They shared their stories, their experiences, and their hopes for the future. The bond between them was strong, forged in the crucible of survival. As Lyra's due date approached, the crew rallied around her, providing support and care. Mark was by her side every step of the way, his love and dedication unwavering. The day their child was born was a moment of profound joy and celebration. A baby girl, with Mark's determined eyes and Lyra's ethereal beauty, came into the world surrounded by love and hope. They named her Aurora, a symbol of the new beginnings they had fought so hard to achieve. As Mark held his daughter for the first time, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. Their journey had been long and arduous, but it had brought them to this moment, a moment of pure love and joy. Lyra looked at Mark, her eyes filled with tears of happiness. "We've created something beautiful, Mark. Our love has given us this precious gift." Mark kissed her gently, his heart overflowing with gratitude. "Yes, Lyra, we've built a future together. No matter what comes, we'll face it as a family." The crew of the Orion celebrated with them, their shared experiences creating a bond that transcended their differences. They had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, their love and resilience a testament to the power of the human spirit. As they looked to the future, Mark and Lyra knew that they would face it together, their hearts forever intertwined. Their love had been forged in the crucible of survival, and it would endure, a beacon of hope in the vast expanse of space. The months that followed the birth of Aurora were filled with new challenges and joys. Mark and Lyra adapted to their roles as parents, their love deepening with each passing day. The starship Orion became their home, a place of safety and community where they could raise their daughter and build a future together. Aurora grew quickly, her bright eyes filled with curiosity and wonder. She was a constant reminder of the love and hope that had brought them through the darkest times. Mark and Lyra cherished every moment with her, their bond as a family growing stronger with each passing day. The crew of the Stellar Sanctuary had integrated seamlessly with the Orion's crew, their shared experiences creating a strong sense of camaraderie. They worked together on missions, explored new worlds, and continued to build a future filled with promise. One evening, as they sat in their quarters, Mark and Lyra reflected on their journey. They held Aurora between them, her laughter filling the room with joy. "Mark, do you ever think about what might have happened if we hadn't crashed on that planet?" Lyra asked, her voice thoughtful. Mark nodded, his gaze tender. "I do. And while it was the most challenging experience of my life, I wouldn't change a thing. It brought us together, and it gave us Aurora. Our love and our family are worth every hardship we faced." Lyra smiled, her eyes shining with love. "I feel the same way. We've been through so much, but it has made us stronger. We are soulmates, bound by our experiences and our love." They kissed, their hearts full of gratitude for the journey that had brought them to this moment. They knew that their love was a rare and precious gift, one that had been forged in the fires of adversity and had emerged stronger than ever. As Aurora drifted off to sleep in their arms, Mark and Lyra held each other close, their hearts full of hope for the future. They knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their bond unbreakable. The years passed, filled with adventures and discoveries. Mark and Lyra continued to serve on the Orion, their skills and experience invaluable to the crew. They explored new worlds, encountered new species, and worked to build a future where peace and understanding could flourish. Aurora grew into a bright and compassionate young woman, her parents' love and resilience guiding her every step of the way. She inherited their strength and determination, becoming a symbol of hope for the future. As they stood together, looking out at the vast expanse of space, Mark and Lyra knew that their journey was far from over. They had built a life together, one filled with love, hope, and endless possibilities. They were soulmates, bound by their shared experiences and their unbreakable bond. And as they faced the future together, they knew that their love would continue to be a beacon of hope in the vast and infinite universe. They had found sanctuary in each other, and their love had given them the strength to overcome any obstacle. Together, they would continue to build a future filled with promise and possibility, their hearts forever intertwined.